Alright, here is the next issue on the Aristo. That wasn't too bad today actually, but this, ooh, come on, this is with no accelerator pedal applied. This is a water temperature sensor for the ECU, and this has to be replaced. I'm fairly sure that this is going to solve most of the issue, because it's only on cold starts and stuff like that. And yeah, because I've noticed, I don't know, maybe it's a timing advance or something like that, or it's just running too rich in startup sometimes. So I do notice a very strong fuel smell, which is kind of normal for startup. So down there, that's the one for the temp sender for the gauge, and then the one below it, that one for the ECU. So that one's going to get replaced. The job shouldn't be too hard. Light is a bit of a thing. I might actually flip the car around so I got some more light out there. But anyway, so process for this, it seems pretty simple. I'm going to take off part of the intake, take off this top radiator hose maybe, and I just got to get to the connectors down there. So actually the water neck comes up here, that might be a bit of a pain, so I might have to get some pliers in there and to take it off. And it looks like the wiring's been spliced for the other temperature sensor, which is a bit of a pain because it doesn't look like it was done very well. So that temp sensor that I'm talking about, I mean the temperature gauge, sorry, that I'm talking about is this one right here, and when it lights up it's got like a gauge, and then it has a warning at 120 degrees, and anything over 105 or something is generally pretty bad. So yeah, we'll see how that goes there. I think it should be alright. The temperatures, the new sensor, I'll have to find it. New sensor's around here somewhere. That sensor on the bottom, that one is the sensor that I'm changing out. You can see where in the wiring loom they've spliced into it now using electrical tape. Now I'm just going to have a look and see if that's soldered at all, because if it's not I'm going to have to fix that. But just one 19mm deep socket on there and it should come right out. And then just pop the new one in. Should all be good. So here's the old sensor, and if you run your finger along it you can feel that there's pitting, which means this is heavily corroded. So this is probably why the ECU was struggling to get a decent temperature reading. I'm hoping that this is the issue, and if it is, I should be able to start the car first try and it should idle straight away. Because that was the problem that I was having before. But first I'm going to top up the coolant and I'm going to clean my hands. So when I first got the car, it had that temperature gauge as I showed you in there, and I was wondering why it was reading high all the time. It was always reading that it would get really, really hot really, really quickly, and even when the engine's off, it would read like 50, oh no, even up to 80 degrees, when it doesn't actually get that hot, 80 degrees Celsius, by the way. Now, I was confused by this because the sender that goes to the dash looked all fine. The temperature gauge didn't go above half, which is pretty much what it's supposed to. And I was really confused, so I just put it down to a faulty gauge. And now I realise that it was probably a faulty sensor. So I'm just going to top up the coolant, and once that's all topped up, I am going to start the engine and see if it'll start right. That's a little bit better than normal. Still not the best, but I think I might have to do an ECU reset before then. So while I'm letting the ECU reset itself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rehook up that old temperature sensor. Now the place that I'm going to do it is, before I was just kind of laying on the dash, and I didn't really like that, so that's partly why I took it down. But I'm going to run the wiring underneath into the center console, so when I put down the ashtray there, I can just have it there. So that's going to work well because it just fits perfectly, and there's also power right here. So I'm going to tap into the power, and you're not going to see any single wires or anything dangling. I mean, I kind of have to do that for my radar detector, but the gauge is ready to be mounted up in there. I've been waiting for this camera to focus, and I've got the soldered connections onto the cigarette lighter socket, and I've drilled a hole and ran the cables for the actual sender wire, which is from the sensor. And I just got to put that under there, and it should all be good. I hope I've got enough wire, but yeah. Alright, I have just finished the wiring for the little sensor that's in the compartment. I've run the wire through, and I've soldered it all up, and I just got to put it all back together, which should take like 20 seconds. Literally 20 seconds. And there we go, temperature gauge is in there. Now, it's been a couple minutes, so I should be able to start up the car, and it should be able to start up and run. I just got to tuck this cable up and under, and then that's the entire job done. Alright, the temperature gauge is reading a much better reading, because I actually did start the car before to test it and everything like that, make sure the sensor works and everything. So let's try it. Oh, that is far better. Alright, looks like it was a success. I hear a bit of belt slip, and that's because I think I accidentally spilled some coolant on the belt. Yeah, that's probably because I spilled a little bit of coolant. That should dry off and come off anyway. But it starts a whole lot better now. It doesn't bog down at all, so I don't know, maybe because of different timing and stuff like that, like too advanced or something like that for startup, or too retarded, I'm not sure. But yeah, still running rich during warm-up, which is kind of normal. So yeah, it looks like it was all a success. The next thing that I'm going to change is the inlet air temperature sensor, and I'm going to see how that goes. Hooray! Goodbye, old sensor. Also, one thing that you should really do once you've done a job like this is check for leaks. So when I go for a drive, I'm going to check it and make sure that there are no leaks. But it's all done. So one other very, very minor problem I had was that on the pedal, it was very loose and the throttle cable had tons and tons of slack in it. So what I did was I just moved the tension adjusters, and now it's pretty much like as soon as you put your foot on the accelerator, there's no looseness. It's just straight away pulls the throttle cable, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's just a little thing. So now there's no slack. I guess over time, like, the throttle cable's kind of loosened itself, or stretched. Yeah, stretched is a better word. So yeah, that just kind of fixes that, adjusts for it. So, temperature sensor's in, and it's looking all good. And it starts up a whole lot better cold now. I still got to test out a couple times. Little gauges in there. If I turn on the ignition, you can see there it is. So yeah.